the environment of the ball, I feel like that's what Asian American culture is like now, because the church culture, I feel like that is gonna be slowly more outdated. Maybe, I don't know, because it's like people who are like our parents' age, like that's their go-to thing for like New Year ball, but like how do we celebrate Seollal? Like I don't.
I mean, I honestly think that the church culture is still going to go on really strong. I mean, I don't know if it's just because I live in Orange County and a lot of people go to church here, but
No, but it's
I mean,
everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, so I think that church culture is still going to be pretty strong. It's just that we're also going to have a very interesting dichotomy of people that also attend church and the ball. Like, have
Yeah.
you noticed there's a lot of people that, like young Asian professionals that do like to go to these kinds of events, but at the same time they are very devout Christians. And it's something that I personally can't really wrap my head around.
Okay, we're gonna have to squeeze.
Who's this guy? So I pulled this guy out of the crowd. So he's I always forget his name, which is really bad. He's a grad student at Northwestern. He studies law. He's Taiwanese American. He was drunk.
Right now, professional horse whisperer, mostly Arabian. It's I haven't mastered the holy horses.
So a lot of people talk about Asian American identity. Like, what do you think about Asian Chicago identity? What does it mean to be an Asian person in Chicago?
It means you're going to grad school. Yeah, it's like you're probably in school or law school. That's what it means to be Asian in Chicago. It's the Midwest, right?
Who's this guy? This is Kevin. So he was one of the other videographers at this event, and we stopped him. Actually, he came up to me, and then I was like, "Hey, you should stop and have a conversation with us."
Sir?
Hi, I'm Kevin. Kevin Shaw. It's spelled H-S-I-A for the record. So H-S. So a lot of people get it mixed up to say, oh, it's S-H-I. Actually, it's H-S-I-A.
I've never heard that last name before.
Yeah, so it's a nice name. So yeah.
Taiwanese?
Taiwanese, correct.
Taiwanese?
Yes. I've gotten a lot of crazy mixed responses. Like, oh, are you Korean? Half Korean? Half white?
I don't see Korean.
They were like, it's the hair. Like, is the hair really a big part of that? I don't know if you could judge a race based on just haircut. So I work, in the tech industry, and it's very like male dominant. Not exactly diverse, but diverse enough where it's like, okay, there's a few women here, but basically, yeah, there needs to be a lot of change in that aspect.
Yeah.
But generally, I wanted something. Back at school, I was involved in KUSA, which is like a Chinese undergrad student association.
Oh, okay.
So I was a social chair for that group, and ever since I left that back in 2011, I've been kind of, I don't know, I guess I never really was, I felt like I'm comfortable, talking with people of different denominations and all sorts of things, but I kind of felt like, okay, you know what, maybe it's nice to just kind of reconnect.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's an aspect to that, but by no means am I just strictly, I'm all about just this group. But I liked having that social element.
Yeah. I think that's something that I hear a lot with Chicagoans, especially Asian Chicagoans. It's like they get to balance their communities so well.
Yeah.
Because they have to. I mean, it's not like you can just survive on like your Asian community.
Right.
One of the groups that host this event is called the Social Quarters, and they're like I think it's mostly Korean people in that group, but it's like Asian Americans in Chicago, young professionals, and the whole purpose of that group is to network with each other. So they hold a lot of networking events, and all of them they're at like bars and clubs and on yachts. In general, it's part, to celebrate Lunar New Year. Part of it, it's like a networking event for young Asian American professionals in the Chicago area, and then part of it is also a fundraiser because admission was like $100, and so they're raising money for a nonprofit. The atmosphere is very much like slinky event. It's like semi-formal. People are wearing like gowns and dresses. The really top Asian restaurants in the city, like the really nice ones, they were catering the event, so they all had individual tables. And there's also like the silent auction going on where they're auctioning off like plane tickets and gym memberships and like other various things that young professionals. There were like 7 performances. So they were like mixed of like traditional and like more modern. Lunar New Year is only celebrated by East Asians, and Southeast Asians like not so much. So in that sense, it was more like of an East Asian event, even though it was to bring like the entire like Pan-Asian community together. All of these people here, I like, especially like going around and eavesdropping on conversations, which also is something that I really love to do, is it felt like a majority of that room was either, you know, upper middle class or high class, or either at that level or trying to get to that level. But I think it's unfair to say that they're not celebrating culture, because this is their culture. They're not Asians, they're not Americans, like they're Asian Americans, which is a completely different thing than being Asian. It's about having Asian ethnicity, but responding to an American culture. And as Asian Americans, like we turn that into like our own thing, and this is how they choose to respond to it, or not even choosing. Like this is what happened. Right. I think you get that this culture is about young people who are looking for financial and corporate success. Like that's the culture. That's the culture at this ball. And I think that's why like they show glimpses of the traditional culture, but the reason why, if they know that they're doing this or not, the most prominent culture being shown here is the young professional corporate Asian American culture. And it's almost like that's what they're celebrating.